Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be going through the Ocala National Forest, checking out some new trails that I've never ridden before. I'm going to get some aerial footage of what the area looks like, so you can see what the trail and the surrounding area looks like. I'm going to head into my favorite camp spot and do a vehicle walk around. If you see anything in the video that you have more questions about, please let me know in the comments. If you have something cool that I don't have, that you think I should, let me know in the comments as well. Always love to see and try out new gear. Now, just take in the views, and I'll show you the camp here in just a second. Hey guys, well, I finally made it to my camp spot. I'll give you a quick tour of the camp spot here in a second, but we are going to be doing a walk around on the truck. It was pointed out to me that I haven't done one yet. All kinds of nonsense on this thing. Got some really high quality gear, and I think it's come along pretty well. The build is exactly what I need. I've taken it slow on this one. Kind of bought something, took it for a trip, saw what I needed, bought something new, and have built it up like that for about 5 years. It's taken a lot longer than I would have liked to get it built, but it's just about done. We all know how that goes. There's some stuff coming in still right now, so it's not done, but it's getting there. Real quick, I can give you guys a tour of the camp spot though, and then we'll start looking at the truck. So this is the camp spot. Prairie's right out there, what you saw in the drone footage. So that's all lake, wetland, marshland. There's a bunch of little spots where you have spots for like 2-3 trucks. This one, I bet we could probably put 7 or 8 in here if we really felt like it. All right, so first off, we're gonna start off with what the truck is. This is a 2016 Lexus GX460. It's been outstanding. Basically a 4Runner chassis with a Tundra power plant, as the way it's explained to me. And then it's got your leather goodies and your wood trim goodies inside. Nice stereo. It came from an FJ Cruiser. Great truck, V6, plenty of power, plenty of torque, great off-road, but it was very Jeep-like on the inside. So I do a lot of cross-country stuff, do a lot of the East Coast. I've been trying to kick out west more, trying to get out there next year. And the problem was with that thing, I've got a bad back, and so sitting in that truck for 10 hours a day doing multi-day cross-country trips just wasn't comfortable. This I can live in, super comfortable. It even has a TV in the dash, and you buy a little like computer to trick it, and you can watch movies in the front as you're doing cross-country trips. Love it, been working great. One of the first things I did on it was this Ironman bumper. So the reason I went with the Ironman, I had an ARB on my FJ. It was great, I had no problems with it, but I wanted to try something new. I just never used these guys before. So got my Ironman bumper on there. It comes with LED fog lights down here. They were okay. I'm a big proponent of aftermarket lighting. I obviously have a little bit of it. Baja Designs came out with a Squadron that is compliant with street driving. So that's what's on there now. I can run those. They come on automatically with the truck's lights, and the lights kick on. The fog lights automatically kick on. These are wired to the factory lighting, so they work just like they would factory. Very nice. Have a nice cutoff pattern, get good light output, and I like the yellow personally. The next thing went on were spotties. Every time we go up to Georgia, there's deer everywhere. Out here, there's deer everywhere. And Anytime you're in the woods, there's deer, and sometimes you're just going fast and you want to be able to see the long distance. Those are LP9s from Baja Design also. All the lighting on the truck's Baja Design. Those LP9s are ridiculous. And I've had everything from PS bodies, Hellas bodies, rigid, aux beam. I went to Baja and it's night and day, literally, I guess. They are fantastic. Great light throw. This is the second set of LP9s I've had on. I had one on the FJ and now I have them on this. Those are also in the amber and yellow. Fantastic light. The only thing I was missing at that point, because of where they sit, they do throw to the side, but because of the way the bar is designed here, it was getting cut off. So I put on ditch lights up at the windshield. Those are Squadron Pros. They throw a ton of light out, and those go out to the sides. So when I'm driving down the road at night in the woods, I can throw my spotties on, I can throw my my ditch lights on, and I've got like a 180-degree coverage, tons of light. I'm not worried about running off the road into a ditch I didn't see, hitting an animal I didn't see, none of that. To round off lighting in the front, the stock headlights are a quad beam HID, so 2 HID pods in each headlight. They're great, they're nice. They're factory, so I wanted something else. Come from a show car background, I can't leave anything alone, and I wanted better performance off of a newer LED style light. So Alpha Rex makes 2 variants of this. They make a triple beam and a quad beam. These are their quad beam headlights. They're awesome. Great cutoff, great light output. They look really cool. They still have the little Lexus running lights on there, but when you hit the turn signal, they change to orange and they'll kind of cascade out. They're neat, just an upgrade. But that's what I have for lighting so far. All right, also on the front of the truck, because most of my traveling is done solo, unfortunately. We're all just getting older and it's harder to coordinate schedules than it was when we were 20. So I do a lot of my traveling solo. When I went out west, solo. So I'm hitting all these passes by myself. Everything out east I've done solo, between the Traverse, the Smoky Mountain 500, the Smoky Mountain 1000. I'm trying to get in some of the backcountry discovery routes this year. Probably going to be by myself. So a good winch was just cheap insurance. I went with a Warn 12,000S. Should be plenty strong to hoist the truck into a tree. I didn't want to go too small. I'd rather go a little bit bigger. And if I need to get the truck out, I can. I cut the hook off of that winch. Just not a big fan of the hooks. They seem dangerous. Got a Warn Sidewinder, which is just this little thimble up front. And I use that with a soft shackle. So soft shackle is going to be a lot safer. It is a synthetic line. I use a Warn dampener on that. So when I have to run the winch, I've got my dampener, I've got my soft shackles. I'm trying to make it as safe as possible for me. Synthetic line I got just to keep the weight down a little bit. Not that I've done a real good job of keeping the weight on the truck down, as you can see, but every little bit helps. The only other thing that's done really to the front of the truck is going to be all the skid plates, kind of front / underneath the vehicle. It's all Ironman as well, from the bumper all the way down. It goes all the way down, does the transfer case and the transmission and all that stuff. And then tow points from them as well. They have discontinued those tow points. I think I was one of the last people to get them, because as soon as I got them, installed them, I was getting hit up all the time, like, hey, where'd you get those? And then no one could find them, so they're gone. I believe Treaty Oak sells some now that are almost the same thing, but those are from those guys. All right, next we're moving on to the side of the vehicle. So the way this thing comes factory, this bumper is normally cut like way down here, and then you have fiberglass side steps with like a plastic step skid on there. All really cool looking. It's all great for aerodynamics and gas mileage, and the first time you go in the woods, rip it all off. So obviously we had some trimming to do on the front bumper. I also did the same on the sides. Those side skirts normally come down another 7-8 inches. It's like a big plastic step. A little bit of time, heat gun, a sharp knife. I cut that almost all the way up to the top. It still covers the rocker. It still looks factory. Almost no one catches the fact that I have sliders on the truck. Those come from a company called Slee out in Colorado. They make some really, really high-end stuff. They look factory, especially when I have them all cleaned up. Super nice. They even give you an option, because there has like puddle lights under the vehicle. You walk up, as soon as you get next to the truck, the lights all kick on underneath. Those have an option for an LED replacement, so I got those. So when I walk up at night, hit the door, open that thing up, it's all LED underneath. It lights up real nice. You can see what's going on underneath you. Very, very nice upgrade. You also see the Ironman snorkel. Again, I went Ironman. I had an ARB on the last vehicle. I went Ironman on this one. Fit great. It's designed for a Prado, which is basically what this is. So it wasn't perfect. Just know that going into it. And the hole you're drilling, my FJ, I had like a little, I think it was a 3-inch or a 4-inch hole, and a bunch of little ones for the bolts. This one was a hole. I think it was like a 4.5-inch hole here, a 4.5-inch here, and then I had the trim between them. So it was like a football hole to get the snorkel through, which is a little bit daunting. It was one of the first mods I did to the vehicle because I'm always out here and I'm out in citrus and it gets very, very sandy and dusty. It's for that, mainly for me. Water crossings, I've done the whole water thing, deep mud thing, eating bearings in your entire vehicle, all your wheel bearings and all the stuff up front. I would try to avoid that now, but that's for sand and dust also. You'll notice also there's a snorkel upgrade on it from Snorkel Upgrade. It is a pre-cleaner. What that allows it to do is it spins up top. Instead of just having that like big snorkel on top, which just kind of sucks everything into the intake and then your filter takes care of it, that pre-cleaner spins everything around and shoots all the dust out of the back before it gets to your filter. I didn't know if it was gonna be gimmicky or not. It was a couple $100, risked it, got it, and it's done great. Actually is a big difference. I can go on a full day trip in citrus, and I used to come home and like that was kind of it for the filter. Take it, bang it out best you could, and then have to buy another one because it was just trashed. With this, I haven't done that at all. A couple Ocala rides, a couple citrus rides, and a full traverse ride in the pouring rain, which hopefully you guys saw that video, and no issues. Filter still looks great. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is our rims, tires, and suspension choices. Rims, tires, this thing takes the same rims, tires as all your FJs, your 4Runners, your Ford Rangers. There's a million options out for these rims and tires. Been a big Volk / Rays guy for 20 years, so of course, grabbed my Grail rim, which is a TE37. I got these in gunmetal gray. Dig them. I'm currently running Toyo Open Country Trails for tires. I've had several sets of tires on this thing. Had the factories, they were road tires, they sucked. I mean, they were great for gas mileage, but it's not what I bought this truck for. Had some AT2s from Toyo, they were good, but they didn't have that aggressive look I was going for. Had some AT3s, they had a slightly more aggressive look, and they were all great off-road. The AT2s, AT3s, they worked awesome. They weren't as aggressive as I wanted, and I was finding that up in Georgia in the clay, they were slipping a little bit. Got some MTs from Nitto during COVID because I couldn't get the tires that I wanted because COVID somehow affected tire press. And then Toyo came out with these trails, and they have been fantastic. Pretty decent aggressive pattern for an all-terrain. The side lugs look nice. Everything looks good on them. They've been working excellent here in the sand when I go to the beach. They go great in the mud and clay and all that up in Georgia. They've been super solid. Really like them. I actually have another set of trails on my other rims, the bronze DRs that are on here usually. Those are sitting in the garage currently. I drove through a giant bucket of white paint and just can't get that crap off my tires, and they look like hell. I was able to get it off the rims, I was able to get it off most of the body and the undercarriage and that stuff, but I cannot get it off the tires. Going through like a half gallon of WD-40 and a plastic hard scrub brush, and it's like starting to come off, but it's to get 4 tires clean, it's going to take me the better part of 20 hours. So that's on hold right now. They're just kind of soaking. Hopefully it loosens that crap up, but I can get it off, but for right now, that's a no-go. All right, let's take a look at suspension. Get in there best I can. That's Ironman. This is a Foam Cell Pro kit they offer with their adjustable upper control arms. Let's see if we can get you a better look from the front here. There we go. They are beefy. They've actually been really good, better than I thought. Again, I had Old Man Emu kit. Let's see if I can get you in here. Maybe, maybe not. Everything's pretty filthy. I had an Old Man Emu kit on the FJ. Again, nothing wrong with it. Worked great. It actually worked great for me. And then I took it off, swapped suspension, and it worked great for my buddy Jack on his 4Runner, which was unfortunately taken out in an accident shortly after. But I've had Toy Tech, I've had Bilstein suspensions and ARB suspensions, and I figured, you know, let's try these. ARB's newest offering wasn't out yet, which is probably going to be what goes on here next. But these have been awesome. Coilovers are huge. There's no external reservoir. They put a big foam cell in there, hence the name, and that acts the same way to keep the bubbling down when they get heat, when the shocks get hot. They work great. I mean, we hit trails pretty fast usually. Never had any fading on them. I probably get some new bump stops. It's pretty, the only thing it's missing, I think, right now is bump stops, which I haven't been, I guess, impressed enough with one or the other versions to get into them. So, I mean, if you have them and you like them, let me know. I know there was one that was like 3D printed that looked cool and it was a good price, but people are having some struggling with it. So I haven't found one that I'm stoked about. But if you have one and you like it and it's on one of these or a 4Runner or an FJ, something comparable, let me know. I'd love to try those out, just to keep it from bottoming out. There are some whoop-de-doos out here, which you may or may not see in the drone footage. We are kind of just bam, bam, bam. And with the tent and all the other crap inside of the truck, it has a tendency to land hard sometimes. I'd love to stop that. Okay, on to some of the bigger ticket items. Anything that goes on the roof is going to be expensive. We have roof rack by Front Runner. This rack has been awesome. I had a Baja rack on my FJ. It worked great. I wanted something a little bit heavier duty that had some accessories for it, so here comes Front Runner. The only thing I didn't like about it initially was you got a ton of wind noise from right here, and it's right above your sunroof, and it was driving me mad. What they don't put on their accessories part for it is this wind fairing, and they have it. Like it's for sale. It's on their site. They don't list it for some reason. So it's there. So if you're having the same crazy noise issues I was, it's there. Just got to find the right size. I ended up just calling them and saying, hey, this thing's crazy loud. What do you have? And they pointed me in that direction, and it's been great. They do offer feet for your rooftop tents. So you can get a foot, because you can see this has like a ledge on it, so it doesn't sit flush. They offer a foot that kind of comes up and down, so you can mount your tent onto that. I wasn't super stoked on it. I had it. I used it on my last tent. This truck has had a Smittybilt tent, a Tepui hardtop, and now it has this CVT mount hood, which has been the best tent I've ever had. But the feet I wasn't crazy about. So what I ended up doing is they also offer a kit for Thule racks. And because I do the rooftop tent sometimes, like I have on here now, and then sometimes I rock a Thule cargo box if I'm just going on a trip and not going to be camping, I got these Thule load bars. I'm going to see if I can get the camera to get in there and not freak out. So you have these Thule aero bars, and they're mounted on Thule mounts for the Front Runner rack. And that allows like full side-to-side coverage for running this. And then again, if I want to run the Thule bin up top, it's good for that. You'll also notice on top, I've got 2 sets of max tracks mounted to the roof rack on the CVT tent. So I've got a roof rack with a tent with a rack. We are the redundant Department of Redundancy here. So that top rack has all of my max tracks on top. I've got an orange set, I've got a black set, because you should have 4, just makes sense. You got 4 tires. And then I've got just a Pelican vault up on this side. That's up there. I don't really keep anything in it. That is I went camping, something got disgustingly dirty. I don't want it back in the truck. I throw it up there. Like I was recovering people off the beach. My rope got completely covered in sand and salt water. I don't want that in the truck. I'll throw that up top and not have to worry about it not being in there anymore. You also notice I have a Taruka awning on the side. We've talked plenty about that. You've seen that in all my videos and pictures. I love it. Can't say enough good things about it. Between the awning and the lighting and all that on there, it has been awesome. By far my favorite awning. I've had 3 on this truck now. And again, CVT mount hood tint. It's the medium. You'll see I have to kind of offset it on the truck just to get the make way for the awning here, but overall the spacing's correct. Been awesome. The only thing I've done to that really to change it is took that mattress that kind of always sucks in rooftop tents out, and I put in an inflatable mattress with a memory foam on it. It's an Xped Mega Mat Duo, and it fit perfect in there. You would think it was factory. Enough where I think CVT should call those guys up and then offer it as a direct replacement from the factory, because it's perfect. All right, so here we're at the back of the truck. If you've been paying attention to the channel at all, you know that I have a rigged swing out. I have their Ultra Swing on the back. This has been great. It was kind of a placeholder for a rear bumper for me until one came out that I liked, but they have yet to put one out that I like or that I think is worth the money, because some of these guys are asking like $4 or $5 grand for bumpers, and I just don't see the value in that personally. This has been outstanding. I'm probably, I don't even remember what I was. I said in the video, $2 grand, 2,500 into this thing by now, which seems a little silly, but at the time, kind of it was cheaper when I bought it. But it does everything I need it to, really. I mean, it holds my spare tire, holds my spare fuel. When I do my traveling, I have all my water or diesel or both here. It's got a flip down table on it. So that's pretty cool. That flip down table has a cutting board, so I've got a huge like working surface area. Worked out really well for me. This has been great. And it'll open all the way up, so I can still open up like the back of the truck. You'll also notice that it has a spot for a thimble. So I just got this Factor 55. I haven't used it yet. I've been using like one of those metal D-shackle ones for ages, for years and years and years, and I finally upgraded to this. I like this because I can run a soft shackle through it, and it's just safer. God knows where that D-shackle came from. It was just an Amazon special, and it worked, and it never bit me, but I figured I'd get rid of it before it did. The only other thing I've done to this that I highly, highly recommend is going to be this little fella. This is from Baja Designs. It is a hitch light. It just goes into your hitch plug, gets wired into the hitch lighting, and so when I put the truck in reverse, that kicks on. Gives me some actual good backup light. Been great. On to lighting back here. This is not a black line. The black line came out a couple years ago, but I am running black line taillights. So the factory lights came with those like chrome Altezas from 2002. I was never a big fan. I wanted something blacked out. I was waiting for Alpha Rex because they said they were going to make something, and then they told me they weren't. So I'm running these little guys. They're from Lexus. They're just the black line lights. They don't do anything other than look cool. These do though. So on to my more Baja designs. I'm running Baja Design S1s as my chase lights / more rear lights, should I need them. Nice and bright if I need the extra lighting. Hello, Mr. Butterfly. Getting chased by a butterfly. They're cool. If we're out in Citrus, we're out here in Ocala, and we're running a big group, and there's 20 trucks. Very, very sandy, very messy, and having some chase lights on there makes all the difference in the world between being able to see the person behind you or in front of you or not. All right, moving on to the interior. I have done a few things to the interior. You might see some stuff missing in the back, like all my seats. In the front, one of the very first things I did was to add a DVD player. So because I do a lot of traveling and I want to be able to watch movies on the way and keep the wife entertained, I added a DVD player. So this comes with this, which everyone just assumes was a like stock CD player, which is fair. But then I'm reading through it, and I can see that it says DVD on it. So I asked the dealership, I'm like, hey, what's the deal with this thing? And they didn't know. They didn't realize that it had a DVD player on it. And it does. Now, to get it to work, I had to buy a tool from Mavics. Let's see if I can get this back in. I think I got Ghostbusters going from my last trip. The trick with this is this doesn't, it's not like a normal old school stereo. If you've been in the stereo thing for a long time, to make a DVD player work in the past, all you had to do was there was an e-brake wire, and you would wire that, instead of your e-brake, you would just wire it to ground, fixed. The truck always thought that the e-brake was on, and it would just play while the vehicle's in motion. Perfect. This one is not that way. Because it's running through that factory head unit, it's also running not just the e-brake, it's running your vehicle speed sensor, and it's running your GPS. So all three of those things are keeping the DVD player from working in motion. Mavics has a bypass for that. You just unplug the unit, the head unit, put this little bypass in between, plug it back in, good to go. There's a couple steps to make it work. You have to like hold down the volume or the end call button for a second, and it kicks on, and now you have Ghostbusters while you're driving. Pretty rad. I do it sometimes, not all the time, but if I'm going to be on a long trip, it's nice to have. And then once that was done, more recently, they came out with some stuff to do CarPlay, because the stereo in this truck is the same stereo as they had in 2011. Being 2024, there's some definitely upgrades that have happened. So Beat Sonic made another jumper, and now I have CarPlay. So I have all the stuff that you can have on your newer vehicles. I can run Gaia on here. I can run my Pandora. I can run whatever I want, just Google Maps. I have new car entertainment system in an old car. I think overall between the two, between DVD and running the Beat Sonic unit, I might be, I don't know, $1,100-1,200 into it. And when you consider what old school stereos used to cost, like head units with their own DVD players and nav and all that kind of stuff, like it's really not that big deal. I think my first Eclipse stereo that came and like flipped up was back in 2001, and it was like $2,000, and it didn't have its own DVD player. I had to run a PlayStation off the thing. So take 2001 money and put it in today's, like I'll take that. That's a pretty good trade. So that's my stereo setup. As far as where you put your cell phones, which is always a huge issue in this truck for some reason. For everybody, there's no good spot. RAM mounts. I just stuck, see if I can get this off one-handed. There we go. All I'm using is GoPro mounts. And the GoPro mount on the bottom of my RAM mount. Slide this little fella in there, and that's what holds my phone. I didn't know if it would last, but it's been on there for a better part of like 4.5 years. So super good, super easy phone mount. It's nice. When I didn't have this, I couldn't run my maps on my stereo, so I ran my maps right down here. It was a nice simple little upgrade. You'll see in my map pockets, I keep all my little junk. I've got a pair of mechanics gloves, I got a fresh flashlight, full med kit. That's going to be chest seals and quick clot, pressure dressings, tourniquets, your basic, just a basic trauma kit in there. I keep a couple in the car, but I keep one in my map pocket right here in case I'm involved in a bad accident and I can't get out of the car. I can still self-rescue there. And of course, because I'm married, I have a nice small umbrella, so if it's raining out, I can get out and get the wife out of the car without her getting all wet, because happy wife is a happy life. Moving into the back, you'll see I have a second trauma kit right here. These are just nice little 511 bags, basic kit. The truck did come with these TVs and the headrests that play through the stereo, which I thought was awesome, and I thought I'd be using a lot, and I don't know that I've ever used them, but they are there. Probably not going to use them anymore here in another month, because As you can see, I already have a passenger side goose gear plate, and the driver's side is on the way. Come on, Brian, let's get that thing sent out, bud. I'm just kidding with you. The goose gear stuff I was hesitant on purchasing for the same reason most people are, because it is friggin' expensive. You look at it and you're like, man, it's just plywood, right? It's like birch plywood or something with some Line-X on it, and I don't see the value in it. And then I got this back plate. So this truck comes with 3 rows, generally speaking. It's a 3-row vehicle. It seats 8. I don't know what kind of pygmy has to be in the back seat for those 3rd row to work, but apparently someone can use it. I was not. Pulled it out, got the 1 plate, and I was like, damn, this is nice. I made my plate system on the FJ, and then I started taking a look at what it was going to cost to make it here, to do the plates, and to get it Line-X'd, and to have all the fit and finish that these guys have, and I would be into it for more money than it cost me to just buy theirs with none of the work. So I did. The 3rd piece back here fit perfect, and then I got ahead and got their fridge slide. I've had the fridge forever. It's never been on a slide, and I wanted one because I want to be able to work outside of the vehicle. And they offer a fridge slide with a bamboo cutting board, which has been super handy. Come in, get in the fridge, grab your nonsense, use this as like your prep table, your eating table. Get this thing all closed back up. And now you've got like a little work surface or your little prep table or whatever you want to use this for back here. Can't recommend the goose gear stuff enough. I was just like you. I looked at that stuff and I was like, man, that is not cheap. They are proud of that. I am not sure it's worth it. I'm here to tell you that it probably is. If you can afford it, it's nice gear. It's well worth it, and it's well worth my time to not have to do it myself. It would have cost me more to do this by myself than it did to just order it from them, and it's a pro job. So it's excellent. I've got their 3rd row panel here, and then mine goes all the way through here. The reason I got this side first was so if there was ever a medical emergency, I had the ability to lay a pad here and then exfil somebody. Or if I had done up top over here, I couldn't have done that. The other thing is, if it was ever like just raining cats and dogs or nasty lightning storm, I can sleep here. I've got a little pad that'll go in there, and I can sleep here if the need ever arose. I haven't had to do that yet, thankfully, but I can if I need to. The only other thing I've done in the interior, aside from, I forgot to show you, the back of the console there where the AC is, the rear air, I installed some plugs. I've got 2 USB fast chargings installed back there and a 12-volt plug for whatever I need. I'm usually plugging in Blue Eddy battery banks off of those to run the fridge when the car's not on, and then I'll run a Blue Eddy solar panel, which I didn't bring with me today. Day like today, it's not going to work real well because it's very overcast, but when we go to the beach, I'll take those solar panels and I will throw them right up top on top of the tent right there, and that's enough to keep that Blue Eddy charged, which keeps my fridge running all day, every day. The only other thing I have in the back of the truck done is going to be my paneling. So I've got some mining panels right here on the sides. I've got one on the top called an attic. So these little guys on the side here are holding a regular first aid kit. I've got my trauma bags up front, but this one is going to be for like boo-boos and band-aids and that kind of stuff. I've got all my medications in there. I've got band-aids in there. We've got like some compression dressings and that kind of stuff, and they're just basic things. It came in pretty handy on my last big group trip. One of my buddies was on his first trip with us. It rained like crazy. We were doing the Smoky Mountain 500, I think. Went down to clean his shoes off at the river. Got down there, River Rock was super slick. He slipped out, tried to catch himself, and ended up tearing his quad off his knee. Whoops. He went down hard. We ran down there to help him out. We're like, you okay? Just thought he was embarrassed, and he was like, I am not okay. So we ended up having to wrap his leg up, get him into the back of one of the rigs, drive him into the closest town, which is like 2 hours away, and help him out. So I try to keep all that stuff in there. Just very handy. This is all my air kit. So when I air up in a few minutes, this is going to be where my air gauge and my pump accessories and all that are in there. In here, I keep all my stuff from my pad. So my sleeping pad is all in there. I have like a little foxtail pump that's in there. I keep all my lighting in here. You've seen all my lighting. I have a lighting video. Extra headlamp just because I always have one on me. All my airlines are in here, and then all my stuff for my awning. So I have all my guy lines, I have all my ropes, I have my tie downs are in there. Just miscellaneous stuff. It comes with this little guy from the factory. Let me keep this. Handy dandy little brush, just to sweep off the ladder when you go camping. All my soft shackles in there. I do still keep an old school D-ring just in case. That's really it. Nothing really going on under the hood other than a brand new Odyssey battery. Man, I hadn't bought batteries in a while. Last battery I bought was a Optima Yellow Top when I first got this truck, which was, I mean, as far as I knew, as good as it got. That Odyssey is legit. Huge cranking power. Very, very nice battery. Like everything else, they are very proud of them. But I think overall that was going to be worth it for me as far as like what's the best quality for the amount of stuff I'm running. So I run a lot of crap in the truck. That's pretty much it for the walk through the vehicle. Now, if you have any questions about anything specific, please let me know. I've done some videos here on a lot of this stuff. The bigger items, the swing out, I've done the video on that. My awning right above me here, I've done a video on that. I think that's really it as far as like big items I've done a video on so far, but if you'd like to see one on something else, let me know. So far, like I said, the truck is coming along. I do have the other goose gear panel coming to remove the driver side of that second row. But aside from that, unless someone comes out with something really, really cool, this might be about it for the truck. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting into like your nitpicky stuff where instead of having just regular lug nuts, I've got Neochrome Project Kicks R34s, and to match those, I've got real titanium valve stems, and then all my bolts up on top of my front runner fairing were starting to look like crap. They're starting to get rusted out, and I could not get front runner send me out the right stuff. So I went on Dress Up Kit Hardware, and I got Dress Up bolts and burnt titanium also. If I'm getting that nitpicky with it, it means I'm almost done. And there might be a GX550 in my very near future. I guess we'll see. See availability. This goes in for an oil change this week. They've got a Overtrail in white in stock on the lot. So I'm not going to say it's not happening. It's probably not, because it's not cheap, and I generally don't buy brand new vehicles so I can like cut all the body off and rip the interior out. But we'll see what it looks like. We'll see how it drives. We'll see if they can talk me into it. Again, if you want to see anything else, please let me know. You may have caught it, but I've got t-shirts now. You can get them on Printify. It's Printify Jade Overland. I have my Topo Turtle design. My buddy Way designed that for me. They are made to order. So there's like 12 different color t-shirts you can get. They all have the orange Topo Turtle, but they go from like browns to yellows to reds to orange to greens to blacks and grays. The few that I've ordered have all been true to size. They are made to order, so whatever size and color you order, you give about a week and they'll come in. I'm not making money on them. They're just kind of out there just because I wanted a t-shirt for me, and so I'm offering it for just about cost. I make like $1 or $2 a shirt, something like that, which will eventually in the next 2 years probably pay off what it costs to make my logo, because I don't care to make money on that stuff. I just thought the t-shirt was cool. Again, if you have questions, hit me up. If you can like the channel and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. And if you want to see anything else, please tell me. Until next time, guys, be safe.